The rain was falling hard on the dark highway. It was almost midnight. Most people were safe in their homes. But one man was not. An expensive black car sat alone on the side of the road. The hazard lights were blinking. Red, red, red. Again and again in the darkness. Inside the car, a man sat in the driver's seat. His name was Marcus Williams. He wore an expensive suit, a Rolex watch on his wrist, diamond cufflinks. Everything about him screamed success and power. But right now, Marcus looked terrified. His hands were shaking. Sweat covered his face. And his legs were not moving the way they should. Come on, Marcus whispered to himself. He tried to move his right leg. It moved slowly, too slowly. Pain shot through his body. This morning, Marcus was different. This morning, he walked into his office like a king. Everyone smiled at him. Everyone respected him. He was the CEO of Williams Tech Company, a man worth millions of dollars. But that was this morning. Now, everything was different. Marcus tried to open the car door. He pushed it with his shoulder. The door opened. Cold rain hit his face. He tried to step out, and he fell. His body hit the wet ground hard. The rain soaked his expensive suit. Mud covered his hands. No, Marcus said. Tears mixed with the rain on his face. He tried to stand up. His legs would not listen to him. They felt weak, like they belonged to someone else. Marcus had a secret, a terrible secret. He was sick. A rare disease was attacking his body. Slowly, day by day, it was taking away his ability to walk. The doctor said he had maybe 6 months before he would need a wheelchair. But Marcus told no one. Not his employees. Not his friends. No one. Because Marcus Williams was supposed to be strong. Powerful. Perfect. And perfect men don't get sick. Perfect men don't fall in the rain like helpless children. He was trying to crawl back into his car when he saw them. Headlights. Coming closer. Marcus's heart started beating fast. Who was it? What if someone recognized him? What if someone saw him like this? An old pickup truck stopped behind his car. The truck was dirty and old. It looked like it might break down at any moment. The driver door opened. A woman stepped out. She was wearing simple clothes. An old jacket. Working boots. Her hands looked rough and dirty. This was a woman who worked with her hands every day. Her name was Sarah. She was 32 years old. A single mother. A mechanic. She worked 3 jobs to feed her daughter. Sarah walked toward Marcus's car. She knocked on the window. Hey, you need help? She called out. Marcus was still on the ground. He quickly tried to pull himself up. He did not want this stranger to see him weak. I'm fine, Marcus said. His voice was shaking. Sarah looked at him. She could see he was not fine. She could see the fear in his eyes. Your car broke down? Sarah asked. Yes. The engine stopped, Marcus said. He finally managed to sit back in the driver's seat. His legs were inside the car now. He was breathing hard. Let me check it, Sarah offered. Marcus wanted to say no. He wanted to tell her to go away. But his car was dead. His phone battery was at 2%. And he was alone on a dark highway in the middle of nowhere. Fine, Marcus said coldly. Be quick. Sarah walked to the front of the car. She opened the hood. She took out a small flashlight from her pocket. Marcus watched her from inside the car. Who was this woman? Why was she alone on this highway, so late at night? Sarah looked at the engine for 2 minutes. Then she walked back to Marcus's window. Your engine belt is broken, Sarah said. I can fix it, but I need to get my tools from my truck. Marcus nodded. He did not say thank you. He was too proud for that. Sarah walked back to her truck. While she was gone, Marcus tried again to step out of the car. He thought maybe he could stand now. He was wrong. His legs gave out immediately. He fell hard on the wet road. His knee hit a sharp rock. Pain exploded through his body. Ah! Marcus cried out. Sarah heard the sound. She ran back. She saw Marcus on the ground. Sir, are you okay? Sarah rushed to help him. Don't touch me, Marcus shouted. His voice was full of anger and shame. Just don't. Sarah stopped. She could see something was very wrong. This man could not walk properly. But she said nothing. Just fix the car, Marcus said quietly. He was sitting on the ground now. Rain was pouring on him. Please. Sarah looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. She worked quickly. Her hands moved fast. She knew engines like she knew her own daughter's face. In 15 minutes, the car was fixed. It's done, Sarah said. Marcus pulled himself back into the car. It took him 3 tries. Sarah pretended not to notice. How much? Marcus asked. $50, Sarah said. Marcus took out his wallet. He pulled out $500. Here, take it. Sarah looked surprised. Sir, that's too much. Just take it, Marcus said. And forget you saw me here tonight. Forget everything. Can you do that? Sarah took the money slowly. She looked into Marcus's eyes. She saw fear there, and pain, and something else. Loneliness. Okay, Sarah said quietly. I'll forget. Good. Now to go, Marcus said. Sarah walked back to her truck. She got in and drove away. But she kept looking in her rearview mirror. She kept seeing that man on the ground. That scared, broken man. Marcus sat in his car for a long time after Sarah left. The rain kept falling. His hands were still shaking. Please, God, Marcus whispered. Please don't let anyone find out. Please. He started the car. The engine came to life. Marcus drove away into the darkness. But this was not the end of the story. This was only the beginning. Because the next morning, Sarah turned on her TV while making breakfast for her daughter. And she saw something that made her drop her coffee cup. On the screen was Marcus Williams, the same man from last night. But on TV, he was walking confidently, smiling, giving a speech about success and power. That's him, Sarah whispered. That's the man from the highway. The TV reporter said, Marcus Williams, CEO of Williams Tech Company, worth over $300 million. Sarah stood frozen. The man she helped last night was one of the richest men in the city. But more importantly, he was hiding something big. Sarah looked at the $500 on her kitchen table. Then she looked back at the TV screen. She did not know it yet, but meeting Marcus Williams would change her life forever. And she would change his life too. Because sometimes the most powerful people are the ones who need help the most. And sometimes the most ordinary people are the ones who can save them. Sarah could not stop thinking about Marcus Williams. 3 days passed since that rainy night on the highway. 3 days since she saw him fall. 3 days since she saw the fear in his eyes. Every time Sarah turned on the TV, she saw Marcus. He was everywhere, giving interviews, shaking hands with important people, walking confidently like nothing was wrong. But Sarah knew the truth. She saw what nobody else saw. Mama, why are you staring at the TV? Her daughter Emma asked. Emma was only 7 years old. She had beautiful brown eyes and a smile that made Sarah forget all her problems. Nothing, baby. Just thinking, Sarah said. She turned off the TV. But that night, Sarah made a decision. A crazy decision. She decided to find Marcus Williams. Not to blackmail him. Not to hurt him. But because she understood pain. She understood what it felt like to hide. To pretend everything was okay when your whole world was falling apart. Sarah knew that feeling too well. The next morning, Sarah was working in her small garage. Her hands were covered in engine oil. She was fixing an old Honda when she heard sound. A car pulled up outside. An expensive car. Sarah's heart stopped. It was him, Marcus Williams. But this time he was not alone. A young man in a suit was with him. His assistant probably. Sarah watched from inside the garage. Marcus stepped out of the car, slowly. Very slowly. He was hiding his pain, but Sarah could see it. The way he held the car door a little too long. The way his right leg moved stiffly. We need a full car service, the assistant said to Sarah's boss. Sure, no problem, the boss replied. Marcus sat down in the waiting area. He took out his phone. He did not look around. He did not recognize Sarah. But Sarah recognized him. She waited. She watched. The assistant left to make phone calls outside. Marcus was alone for a moment. This was Sarah's chance. She walked toward him. Her heart was beating fast. What was she doing? This man was a millionaire, a powerful CEO, and she was just a mechanic. I remember you, Sarah said quietly. Marcus looked up. His eyes went wide. Recognition, then fear, then anger. Excuse me, Marcus said coldly. From the highway. 3 nights ago. The rain, Sarah said. Marcus stood up quickly. Too quickly. His leg wobbled. He grabbed the chair to steady himself. I don't know what you're talking about, Marcus said. His voice was hard as steel. Your legs? You're sick, aren't you? Sarah whispered. Marcus's face changed completely. The mask fell away for just 1 second. And in that second, Sarah saw everything. The pain, the fear, the desperation. Marcus grabbed Sarah's arm. Not hard, but firm. "Listen to me very carefully," Marcus said. His voice was low and dangerous. "You will forget what you saw that night. You will forget everything. Do you understand me?" Sarah pulled her arm away gently. "I'm not your enemy. Everyone is my enemy," Marcus said bitterly. Before Sarah could respond, Marcus's phone rang. He looked at the screen. His face went pale. "I have to take this," he said. He walked away from Sarah toward the corner of the garage. But Sarah's garage was small, very small, and even though Marcus tried to speak quietly, Sarah could hear him. "Yes, Dr. Chun," Marcus said into the phone. I know. No, I haven't started the treatment yet. Because I can't. If anyone finds out." There was a pause. Sarah pretended to work on the car, but she was listening to every word. 6 months. Marcus's voice cracked. "You're saying I've only 6 months before I can't walk at all?" Sarah's hands stopped moving. 6 months. This man had 6 months before he would be in a wheelchair. "I can't do physical therapy," Marcus continued. "Someone will see me. The media will find out. My company will collapse. Everything I built will be gone." Another pause. "I'd rather die than let people see me weak," Marcus said. "Do you understand? I'd rather die." Sarah felt something break inside her chest. She knew that feeling. She knew what it was like to think death was better than being seen as broken. 4 years ago, Sarah was in a terrible car accident. Her spine was injured. Doctors said she might never walk again. For 6 months, Sarah lived in darkness. She wanted to give up. She wanted to die. But someone helped her. A physical therapist named Mrs. Rose. An old woman who refused to let Sarah quit. "You're not broken," Mrs. Rose used to say. "You're just learning to be strong in a different way." Mrs. Rose taught Sarah how to walk again, how to fight again, how to live again. And now, looking at Marcus Williams, Sarah saw herself 4 years ago. Marcus ended his phone call. He turned around. Sarah was standing right there. "How much did you hear?" Marcus asked. His voice was tired now. Not angry. Just tired. "Enough," Sarah said honestly. Marcus closed his eyes. "What do you want? Money? I'll pay you anything. Just, please, don't tell anyone." "I don't want your money," Sarah said. "Then what?" Marcus asked. "Everyone wants something." Sarah took a deep breath. She was about to say something crazy. Something that might change both their lives. "I want to help you," Sarah said. Marcus stared at her like she was insane. Then he laughed. A bitter, painful laugh. "Help me? You're a mechanic. You fix cars, not people," Marcus said. "I was in a car accident 4 years ago," Sarah said. "My spine was damaged. I couldn't walk for 6 months. I had to learn everything again. How to stand. How to take a single step. I know what you're going through." Marcus's face softened. Just a little. I'm sorry, but it's different. You don't understand." "I understand pride," Sarah interrupted. "I understand hiding pain. I understand pretending everything is fine when you're dying inside. I see it in the mirror every single day." Silence filled the garage. Marcus stared at Sarah, really looked at her for the first time. "Why would you help me?" Marcus finally asked. "You don't even know me." "Because someone helped me once," Sarah said. "And because maybe you need someone who sees you as Marcus. Not as a CEO, not as a rich man. Just Marcus." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Sarah could see him thinking, fighting with himself. Finally, he spoke. "If I agree, no one can know. Not my employees. Not my board of directors. Not the media. No one. If this gets out, I lose everything." "I understand," Sarah said. "And I mean it," Marcus said, his voice hard again. "If you betray me, I will destroy you. I have lawyers, money, power. I can make your life hell." Sarah should have been scared, but she wasn't, because she saw past his threats. She saw a man drowning, desperately grabbing for anything to keep his head above water. "I won't betray you," Sarah said simply. Marcus studied her face, looking for lies, looking for hidden motives, but he found none. "Okay," Marcus said finally. "We start tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., before anyone else is awake." Sarah nodded. "I'll be ready." Marcus walked back to his car. His assistant was returning. Marcus's mask came back on. the confident CEO, the powerful businessman. But as Marcus drove away, he looked in his rearview mirror. He saw Sarah standing in front of her garage, just a simple woman in dirty work clothes. And for some reason, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in months. Hope. But Marcus didn't know that someone else was watching too. A man in a dark car across the street. A man with a camera. A man who just took pictures of Marcus Williams entering a small garage and talking to an unknown woman. This man smiled. Then he drove away to make a phone call that would change everything. The mysterious man's name was David Reeves. He was a private investigator, and he worked for Richard Cole. Richard Cole was Marcus Williams's biggest enemy. 10 years ago, Marcus and Richard were best friends. They started Williams Tech Company together. They were like brothers. But then everything changed. Richard wanted to sell the company to a bigger corporation. He wanted quick money, fast success. But Marcus said no. Marcus wanted to build something real, something that would last. They fought. They argued. And finally, Marcus bought Richard's shares of the company. Richard left angry, bitter, destroyed. Since that day, Richard Cole had one goal in his life. Destroy Marcus Williams. Take everything from him. Make him feel the same pain Richard felt. And now, finally, Richard had his chance. David Reeves walked into Richard's expensive office. He placed photos on the desk. Photos of Marcus entering Sarah's garage. Photos of Marcus talking to Sarah. Photos of Marcus struggling to walk. Richard picked up the photos. A slow smile spread across his face. "What is this place?" Richard asked. "A small mechanic garage," David said. "The woman's name is Sarah Mitchell. Single mother. Works 3 jobs. Nothing special. And Marcus is going there because—" Richard asked. "I don't know yet," David admitted. "But look at this photo." David pointed to one picture. It showed Marcus holding onto a car, his legs shaking. "He can't walk properly," David said. "Something is wrong with him." Richard's smile grew bigger. "Find out everything about this Sarah woman. And find out what's wrong with Marcus. I want details. Medical records. Everything." "That might take some time," David started. "I don't care how long it takes," Richard interrupted. "Marcus Williams took everything from me. Now I'm going to take everything from him." Meanwhile, across the city, Marcus and Sarah were meeting for the first time for physical therapy. It was 5 in the morning. The city was still sleeping. Sarah's garage was dark except for one small light in the back room. Marcus arrived exactly on time. He was wearing simple clothes, not his usual expensive suits. Sweatpants, a hoodie, dark sunglasses, even though the sun wasn't up yet. "You look like you're trying to rob a bank," Sarah said when she saw him. "I'm trying not to be recognized," Marcus said coldly. Sarah had cleared a space in her back room. It wasn't much. Just some old mats on the floor, some resistance bands, simple equipment. Marcus looked around. "This is where we're doing therapy? You were expecting a fancy gym?" Sarah asked. "I was expecting more," Marcus said. "More won't make your legs work," Sarah said. "Only hard work will do that." Marcus was quiet. He knew she was right. "Okay," Sarah said. "Show me what you can do. Walk from here to that wall." The wall was only 10 feet away. 10 simple feet. For most people, that was nothing. But for Marcus, it felt like a mile. Marcus took a deep breath. He started walking. 1 step. 2 steps. His right leg dragged a little. 3 steps. Pain shot up his spine. 4 steps. His left knee buckled. Marcus grabbed onto a table to stop himself from falling. "I can't," Marcus said. Sweat was already covering his face. "You just did 4 steps," Sarah said. "Yesterday, could you do 4 steps?" Marcus thought about it. "No. Yesterday, I could only do 2. "Then you're already getting better," Sarah said. They worked for an hour. It was hard. Painful. Marcus wanted to quit every 5 minutes. But Sarah wouldn't let him. Again, Sarah kept saying, "One more time. You can do it." By the end of the session, Marcus was exhausted. He sat on the floor, breathing hard. "I hate this," Marcus said. "I know," Sarah said. "I hated it too when I was learning to walk again." Marcus looked up at her. "How long did it take you?" 8 months, Sarah said honestly. 8 months of pain, of falling, of crying, of wanting to give up every single day. "But you didn't give up," Marcus said. "No," Sarah said. "Because someone told me something important. Want to know what it was?" Marcus nodded. She said, "Your body might be broken, but your spirit doesn't have to be. You choose what breaks you and what makes you stronger, Sarah said. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. Who told you that? A woman named Mrs. Rose. She was my physical therapist. She saved my life, Sarah said softly. Where is she now? Marcus asked. Sarah's face became sad. She died 2 years ago. Cancer. I'm sorry, Marcus said. And he meant it. She taught me that helping people is how we honor those who helped us, Sarah said. That's why I'm helping you. Marcus felt something strange in his chest, an emotion he hadn't felt in years. Gratitude. Real gratitude. Thank you, Marcus whispered. Sarah smiled. Come back tomorrow. Same time. Marcus left the garage carefully. He looked around to make sure no one saw him. The street was empty, or so he thought. Across the street, hidden in shadows, David Reeves sat in his car. He had been there the whole time, watching, taking more pictures. David called Richard Cole. Boss, I think Marcus Williams is sick. Really sick. He can barely walk. And this woman, she's helping him. Perfect, Richard said. Keep watching. I want to know everything. And when the time is right, we're going to tell the whole world. The next morning, Marcus woke up in pain. Every muscle in his body hurt. But he also felt something else. Something he couldn't quite name. He looked at his phone. There was a text message from an unknown number. It was Sarah. Good work today. Your body is stronger than you think. See you tomorrow. Sarah. Marcus stared at the message. No one had encouraged him like that in years. Everyone around him only cared about what he could do for them. His money, his power, his connections. But Sarah didn't want anything. She just cared. Marcus saved her number in his phone. For the first time in months, he actually looked forward to tomorrow. But what Marcus didn't know was that Richard Cole was planning something terrible. Something that would destroy everything. Richard was going to the board of directors of Williams Tech Company. He was going to tell them that Marcus was sick. That Marcus was hiding a serious medical condition. That Marcus was unfit to lead the company. And Richard had proof. Photos, videos, medical records that David Reeves had illegally obtained. Richard sat in his office, looking at all the evidence. In 2 weeks, Williams Tech Company was signing the biggest deal in its history. A deal worth $500 million. But if the investors found out Marcus was sick, the deal would collapse. The company would lose everything, and Marcus would be destroyed. 2 weeks, Richard said to himself. In 2 weeks, Marcus Williams will lose everything, and I'll finally get my revenge. Richard picked up his phone. He made a call to the head of Williams Tech's board of directors. Hello, Mr. Peterson. This is Richard Cole. I have some information about Marcus Williams you need to see. Information that will change everything. Across the city, Marcus was sleeping. He was dreaming about walking again, running, being free. He didn't know that his worst nightmare was about to begin. And Sarah? Sarah was sitting in her small apartment, watching her daughter Emma sleep. Emma had been coughing all week. She needed to see a doctor. But Sarah didn't have money for a doctor visit. Sarah looked at the $500 Marcus gave her that first night. She had been saving it for Emma's medicine. But now, tomorrow, Sarah whispered. Tomorrow I'll figure it out. But tomorrow was going to bring something neither Marcus nor Sarah expected. Tomorrow, everything would change. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of secret meetings. 2 weeks of pain and progress. Marcus was getting stronger. Not much, but enough. He could walk 15 steps now without holding onto anything. His right leg still dragged sometimes. But the fear in his eyes was starting to disappear. And something else was happening. Something neither Marcus nor Sarah expected. They were becoming friends. Every morning at 5 a.m., they met in Sarah's garage. They talked while Marcus did his exercises. Marcus learned about Sarah's daughter Emma. How Emma loved drawing. How she wanted to be an artist someday. How Sarah worked 3 jobs just to keep food on the table. And Sarah learned about Marcus's life. The real Marcus. Not the CEO everyone saw on TV. I built my company from nothing, Marcus told her one morning. I was poor once. So poor I slept in my car for 6 months. Everyone said I would fail. But I didn't. You proved them wrong, Sarah said. Yes. But now, Marcus looked at his legs. Now I'm weak again. And I hate it. You're not weak, Sarah said firmly. Weak people give up. You're here, fighting. That's strength. Marcus smiled. A real smile. Not the fake smile he showed to cameras. But that same morning, Richard Cole was preparing his attack. Richard sat in a conference room with 5 members of Williams' Tech's board of directors. On the table were folders. Inside those folders were photos, medical records, everything David Reeves had collected. "Gentlemen," Richard began, "thank you for meeting with me today. What I'm about to show you will shock you." Mr. Peterson, the head of the board, frowned. "Richard, what is this about?" "It's about Marcus Williams," Richard said. He opened the first folder. "Your CEO is hiding something from you. Something big." He spread the photos across the table. Photos of Marcus struggling to walk. Photos of him entering Sarah's garage. Photos of him falling. The board members leaned forward. Their faces showed confusion, then concern, then fear. What's wrong with him?" one board member asked. "He has a degenerative disease," Richard said. "His legs are failing. In a few months, he won't be able to walk at all." "How did you get this information?" Mr. Peterson demanded. "That doesn't matter," Richard said smoothly. "What matters is that Marcus lied to you. He's been hiding this for months. And in 3 days, you're supposed to sign the biggest deal in company history. $500 million. "Oh God," another board member whispered. "If the investors find out Marcus is sick," Richard continued, "they'll pull out. The deal will collapse. Your company will lose everything. Your stock will crash. Thousands of employees will lose their jobs." The room went silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing. "What do you want, Richard?" Mr. Peterson asked quietly. Richard smiled. "I want Marcus removed as CEO, and I want to buy the company. I'll pay fair price. Everyone keeps their jobs. The deal goes through. Everyone wins. Everyone except Marcus," Mr. Peterson said. "Marcus lied to you," Richard said. "He put the entire company at risk because of his pride. He doesn't deserve your loyalty." The board members looked at each other. Richard could see them thinking, calculating, choosing between loyalty and survival. "We need to think about this," Mr. Peterson said finally. "Think fast," Richard said, "because in 3 days, this information goes public, one way or another." Richard left the meeting room. He felt victorious. Finally, after 10 years, he was going to destroy Marcus Williams. That same afternoon, Marcus was in his office. He was preparing for the big deal signing in 3 days. Everything had to be perfect. This deal would make Williams Tech one of the biggest companies in the country. His assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Williams, the board wants to see you." Marcus looked up. "When?" "Right now, sir." "Emergency meeting." Marcus felt a cold feeling in his stomach. "Emergency meeting? Why?" He walked to the conference room. His legs felt stronger today. He barely limped at all. He was proud of that. But when he opened the door, he knew something was terribly wrong. The board members sat around the table. Their faces were serious, dark, and in the center of the table were folders. "Marcus," Mr. Peterson said. "Sit down. We need to talk." Marcus sat. His heart was beating fast. Mr. Peterson opened one of the folders. He pushed it across the table to Marcus. Marcus looked down. His blood turned to ice. Photos. Photos of him at Sarah's garage. Photos of him struggling to walk. Photos of him falling. "Marcus," Mr. Peterson said quietly. "Is it true? Are you sick?" Marcus couldn't speak. His mind was racing. How did they get these photos? Who was watching him? "Answer the question," another board member said harshly. "Are you dying?" "I'm not dying," Marcus said finally. His voice was shaking. "But you're sick," Mr. Peterson said. "You've been hiding a medical condition from us." Marcus wanted to lie. He wanted to deny everything. But he was tired. So tired of hiding. "Yes," Marcus whispered. "I'm sick." The room erupted. Board members started talking at once. Angry voices. Scared voices. "Quiet," Mr. Peterson shouted. Everyone went silent. "Marcus," Mr. Peterson said. "This deal we're signing in 3 days. If the investors find out you're sick, they'll walk away. You know that, right?" "Yes," Marcus said. "That's why I didn't tell anyone." "You should have told us," Mr. Peterson said. "We could have helped you. We could have managed this." "I didn't want to be managed," Marcus said, his voice stronger now. "I built this company. I'm not going to let a disease destroy it." "Richard Cole was here today," another board member said. "He offered to buy the company. He said if you step down, the deal can still go through." Everyone keeps their jobs. Marcus's fists clenched. Richard did this. He's the one who's been watching me. That doesn't matter now, Mr. Peterson said sadly. What matters is what we do next. You want me to step down, Marcus said. It wasn't a question. We want you to think about what's best for the company, Mr. Peterson said. For the employees. For everyone who depends on Williams Tech. Marcus stood up. His legs were shaking, but he didn't care. I'm not stepping down, Marcus said. This is my company. I built it. And I'm not giving it to Richard Cole. Marcus, Mr. Peterson started. No. Marcus shouted. I know I'm sick. I know my legs are failing. But my mind still works. My vision still works. I can still lead this company. For how long? Someone asked cruelly. How long before you're in a wheelchair? How long before you can't even come to the office? Marcus had no answer for that. We're going to vote, Mr. Peterson said. Tomorrow morning. The board will decide if you remain as CEO. Marcus looked around the table. These people used to respect him. Some even loved him. But now they looked at him with pity and fear. Fine, Marcus said. Vote. But know this. If you remove me, Richard Cole wins. And he doesn't care about this company. He only cares about revenge. Marcus walked out of the room. He walked as straight as he could. But inside, he was breaking. He went straight to his car. He didn't go home. He drove to Sarah's garage. Sarah was closing up for the day when Marcus arrived. She saw his face and knew immediately something was wrong. Marcus? What happened? Marcus got out of the car. And for the first time since his diagnosis, he let someone see him completely broken. They know. Marcus said. Everyone knows. And tomorrow I might lose everything. Sarah locked the garage door. She led Marcus to the small back room where they did therapy every morning. Tell me everything, Sarah said. Marcus sat down on an old chair. His hands were shaking. He told Sarah about the photos. About Richard Cole. About the board meeting. About the vote tomorrow. They're going to remove me, Marcus said. His voice was empty. Defeated. Everything I built. Everything I worked for. Gone. Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then she said something Marcus didn't expect. Let it go. Marcus looked up at her. What? Let the company go, Sarah said. If they don't want you, then leave. Walk away. Walk away. Marcus laughed bitterly. That company is my life. It's all I have. No, Sarah said firmly. It's not all you have. You have your health, your mind, your future. That company doesn't define you, Marcus. You don't understand, Marcus said. I came from nothing. Absolutely nothing. I slept in my car. I ate one meal a day. I built Williams Tech with my bare hands. If I lose it, I'm nothing again. You were never nothing, Sarah said. She knelt down in front of Marcus. Listen to me. 5 weeks ago, you couldn't walk 10 steps. Today you walked in here without even thinking about it. You're getting stronger. You're healing. What's the point? Marcus whispered. If I lose my company, what's the point of any of this? Sarah grabbed his hands. The point is you're alive. The point is you matter. Not because you're a CEO, but because you're human. You're Marcus. Tears filled Marcus's eyes. I don't know how to be just Marcus. I've been Marcus Williams, CEO, for so long. Without that title, who am I? Maybe it's time to find out, Sarah said softly. They sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Marcus spoke. What would you do? If you were me? Sarah thought carefully. I'd tell the truth. All of it. Before Richard can. Tell the truth. Marcus looked shocked. That's suicide. The deal will collapse. The company will crash. Maybe, Sarah said. Or maybe people will surprise you. Maybe they'll respect your honesty. That's a nice dream, Marcus said. But the real world doesn't work that way. You won't know until you try, Sarah said. Marcus stood up. He paced the small room. His mind was racing. If I tell the truth, I control the story, Marcus said slowly. Richard can't use it against me if I say it first. Exactly, Sarah said. But the investors will run. The deal will die. The stock will crash, Marcus said. Or, Sarah said, they'll see a man who's honest, brave, real. Maybe that's worth more than a man who lies. Marcus stopped pacing. He looked at Sarah. Really looked at her. How did you get so wise? Marcus asked. I'm not wise, Sarah smiled sadly. I just learned that hiding the truth only makes the pain worse. I hid my injury for months. I pretended I was fine, and it almost destroyed me. It was only when I admitted I needed help that I started healing. Marcus nodded slowly. Okay, I'll tell the truth. Tomorrow, before the vote. I'm proud of you, Sarah said. Those words hit Marcus hard. When was the last time someone said they were proud of him? Not proud of his company. Not proud of his money. Just proud of him. Thank you, Sarah, Marcus said. For everything. I don't know what I did to deserve your help, but... Marcus, Sarah interrupted. You don't have to deserve kindness. That's not how kindness works. Marcus felt something break inside him. All the walls he built. All the armor he wore. It cracked. And tears fell down his face. I'm so tired, Marcus whispered. I'm so tired of being strong. Of pretending. Of hiding. Sarah hugged him. Just a simple hug. Marcus couldn't remember the last time someone hugged him like this. No agenda. No want. Just human connection. They stood like that for a long moment. Then Marcus's phone rang. He pulled away and looked at the screen. It was his assistant. Mr. Williams. The assistant's voice was panicked. Turn on the news. Right now. What? What? Marcus asked. Just turn it on. Channel 7. Sarah found an old TV in the corner. She turned it on. Changed to Channel 7. And Marcus's world exploded. On the screen was a news reporter. Behind her was a huge photo of Marcus. And the headline said, Breaking news. Williams Tech CEO Marcus Williams hiding serious illness. The reporter spoke. We've just received shocking information about Marcus Williams, CEO of Williams Tech. According to sources, Mr. Williams has been diagnosed with a degenerative disease that affects his ability to walk. He's been hiding this condition from his board of directors, his employees, and his investors for months. The screen showed the photos. Marcus struggling to walk. Marcus at Sarah's garage. Marcus falling. Richard, Marcus whispered. That bastard. He didn't wait for the vote. He went straight to the media. The reporter continued. This revelation comes just 2 days before Williams Tech is scheduled to sign a $500 million deal. Investors are now questioning whether Mr. Williams is fit to lead the company. Marcus's phone started ringing. Text messages flooded in. Emails. Everyone wanted answers. Everyone was panicking. It's over, Marcus said. He sat down heavily. It's all over. But then something unexpected happened. Sarah's phone rang too. It was her friend Lisa, who worked at the local community center. Sarah, turn on the news. Lisa said, they're talking about that CEO guy. The one you helped. How did you, Sarah started? Everyone knows you're helping him, Lisa said. Someone saw Marcus's car at your garage every morning. Sarah, people are talking. They're saying you're the reason he's getting better. Sarah looked at Marcus. Marcus, did you hear that? But Marcus wasn't listening. He was reading something on his phone. His face had gone pale. What is it? Sarah asked. Marcus showed her his phone. It was an email from Mr. Peterson, head of the board. The email said, Marcus, emergency board meeting. Tomorrow morning. 8 Uhr morgens. Prepare to explain yourself. Your position as CEO will be terminated unless you can give us a very good reason to keep you. Tomorrow morning, Marcus said numbly. I have 12 hours to save my company. Sarah grabbed his shoulders. Then we have 12 hours to prepare. Marcus, this is your chance. Tell your story. Your way. Show them who you really are. And who am I? Marcus asked. You're a man who's fighting, Sarah said. A man who didn't give up even when his own body betrayed him. A man who's brave enough to ask for help. Tell them that story. Marcus looked at the TV. The news was still playing. People on social media were already responding. Some were angry. Some were sympathetic. The whole world was watching. Okay, Marcus said finally. Tomorrow morning. I'll tell them everything. And whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, you'll still be Marcus, Sarah said. And that's enough. But neither of them knew what tomorrow would bring. They didn't know that Richard Cole was already planning his next move. They didn't know that the board meeting would become the most important moment of Marcus's life. And they definitely didn't know that Sarah was about to face her own crisis. Because at that exact moment, Sarah's phone rang again. It was the hospital. Ms. Mitchell, the nurse said. It's about your daughter Emma. She collapsed at school. You need to come right now. Sarah's face went white. Emma? Is she okay? Just come quickly, the nurse said. Sarah grabbed her keys. Marcus, I have to go. It's Emma. I'll drive you, Marcus said immediately. They ran to Marcus's car. As they drove to the hospital, Sarah's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She's been coughing for weeks, Sarah said. I couldn't afford to take her to the doctor. I kept saying tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll find the money. Tomorrow. It's not your fault, Marcus said. But Sarah wasn't listening. She was praying. Pray her baby girl was okay. They arrived at the hospital. Sarah ran inside. Marcus followed her, his legs protesting but moving anyway. The doctor met them in the emergency room. Ms. Mitchell, the doctor said, your daughter has pneumonia. It's serious. She needs to be admitted immediately. She'll need medication, oxygen therapy, maybe even surgery if it gets worse. How much? Sarah asked. How much will all this cost? The doctor hesitated. With insurance, around $15,000. Without insurance. I don't have insurance, Sarah whispered. The doctor's face was sympathetic. Then we're looking at close to $50,000. Sarah felt the world spin. $50,000. She didn't have $50. How could she possibly? I'll pay for it, Marcus said. Everyone turned to look at him. What? Sarah said. I'll pay for everything, Marcus repeated. Whatever Emma needs. Consider it done. Marcus, I can't, Sarah started. Yes, you can, Marcus said firmly. You saved my life, Sarah. Let me save your daughter's. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much. The doctor nodded. Okay, we'll start treatment immediately. As the doctors took Emma away, Sarah collapsed into a chair. Marcus sat beside her. I don't know how to repay you, Sarah said. You already did, Marcus said. You gave me hope when I had none. You showed me I was more than my disease. That's worth more than any amount of money. They sat together in the hospital waiting room. Two people from completely different worlds. But in that moment, they were just two humans. Scared, hopeful, fighting for the people they loved. And tomorrow, Marcus would face the biggest battle of his life. But tonight, they would wait together and hope and pray that everything would be okay. The night felt endless. Sarah sat beside Emma's hospital bed. Her little girl was sleeping. Oxygen tubes in her nose. For in her small arm. She looked so fragile. So tiny. Marcus had left an hour ago. He needed to prepare for the board meeting. But before he left, he held Sarah's hand. She'll be okay, Marcus had said. Emma is strong. Just like her mother. Now, at 3 a.m, Sarah was alone with her thoughts. And her fears. A nurse came in to check Emma's vitals. She's doing better, the nurse said gently. The antibiotics are working. She should wake up in a few hours. Thank you, Sarah whispered. When the nurse left, Sarah put her head in her hands. She thought about the last 5 weeks. How her life had changed. How she met a broken CEO on a rainy highway. How she helped him walk again. How he became a friend. Sarah's phone buzzed. A text message from Marcus. Can't sleep. Thinking about tomorrow. Scared. Sarah smiled through her tears. She texted back. Me too. But you're ready. Tell them your truth. That's all you can do. Marcus replied. What if my truth isn't enough? Sarah thought for a moment. Then she typed. Then at least you'll be free. Free from hiding. Free from fear. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself. Marcus didn't reply. Sarah hoped her words helped him. Meanwhile, across the city, Marcus sat in his empty office. The building was dark. Everyone had gone home hours ago. On his desk were 2 folders. One contained his resignation letter. The other contained his speech for tomorrow's board meeting. Marcus kept switching between them. Resignation. Speech. Resignation. Speech. The resignation was easier. Just sign it. Walk away. Let Richard Cole win. Save himself the humiliation. But the speech was terrifying. It meant standing in front of the board and admitting everything. His disease. His fear. His weakness. Marcus looked at a photo on his desk. It was from 10 years ago. Him and his first 5 employees. They were so young. So hopeful. So excited about building something great. What would you do? Marcus whispered to his younger self in the photo. His younger self wouldn't have resigned. His younger self fought for everything. Never gave up. Never backed down. Marcus picked up the speech. He started reading it out loud. Practicing. His voice shook at first, but then it grew stronger. At 7 a.m., Marcus was ready. He put on his best suit. He looked in the mirror. His eyes were tired. but they were clear, honest. Today, I tell the truth, Marcus said to his reflection. Whatever happens, I tell the truth. He drove to Williams Tech headquarters. News reporters were already outside. Cameras everywhere. They shouted questions as Marcus walked past. Mr. Williams, is it true you're sick? Are you resigning today? Has Richard Cole taken over the company? Marcus ignored them all. He walked through the front doors. His legs felt strong, stronger than they had in months. Employees whispered as he walked by. Some looked at him with pity, some with anger, some with confusion. Marcus went straight to the conference room. The entire board was already there. 12 people who would decide his fate. And sitting in the corner, smiling like a snake, was Richard Cole. Richard, Marcus said coldly. I didn't know you were invited. I invited him, Mr. Peterson said. He has an offer for the company. We need to hear it. Marcus sat down. His heart was pounding, but his face was calm. Before we begin, Mr. Peterson said, Marcus, the board has some questions, and we need honest answers. You'll get honest answers, Marcus said. That's why I'm here. Good, Mr. Peterson said. First question, how long have you known about your medical condition? 6 months, Marcus answered. Whispers around the table. Angry whispers. 6 months, a board member shouted. You hid this from us for 6 months. Yes, Marcus said simply. Do you know what you've done? Another member yelled. Our biggest deal is tomorrow. If the investors find out, they already know. Richard Cole interrupted. He was enjoying this. I made sure they know. And guess what? They're pulling out. The deal is dead. Silence. Horrible, crushing silence. Marcus felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. The deal was dead. Everything he worked for. Gone. $500 million, Mr. Peterson said quietly. Gone. Because you lied to us, Marcus. I didn't lie, Marcus said. I just didn't tell you. That's the same thing, someone shouted. No, Marcus said, his voice rising. It's not. I was trying to protect the company. I thought if I could just get better, if I could just fix myself before anyone noticed. But you can't fix yourself, Richard Cole said. He stood up and walked to the center of the room. Face it, Marcus. You're broken. And broken leaders destroy companies. Marcus stood up too. I'm not broken. Really? Richard smiled cruelly. Then walk to me. Right now. Walk across this room without limping. Without struggling. Show us you're not broken. Everyone stared at Marcus. Waiting. Watching. Marcus took a deep breath. Then he started walking toward Richard. 1 step. His right leg dragged slightly. 2 steps. His left knee wobbled. 3 steps. Pain shot up his spine. But Marcus kept walking. 4 steps. 5 steps. 6 steps. He reached Richard Cole. They stood face to face. I'm not broken, Marcus said quietly. I am healing. There's a difference. Richard laughed. You can barely walk. How can you run a company? The same way I built it, Marcus said. With my mind, my vision, my determination. Walking has nothing to do with leadership. The investors disagree, Richard said. They want someone strong, someone healthy, someone like me, someone like you. Marcus turned to face the board. 10 years ago, Richard wanted to sell this company for quick money. I said no. I wanted to build something lasting, something real. And I did. We did. Together. Marcus looked at each board member. Yes, I'm sick. Yes, I should have told you sooner. But I never stopped working. I never stopped caring about this company. About you. About our employees. That's a nice speech, Richard said. But speeches don't pay bills. I'm offering to buy Williams Tech for $2 billion. Everyone keeps their jobs. The company survives. All you have to do is step aside, Marcus. $2 billion. The board members looked at each other. Marcus could see them calculating, thinking about their own futures. Before you decide, Marcus said, I want to tell you a story. 5 weeks ago, my car broke down on a highway. I couldn't walk. I was alone, scared. A mechanic stopped to help me. A single mother named Sarah. Marcus's voice grew softer, more honest. Sarah had every reason to ignore me. She was tired. It was late. She had her own problems. But she helped me anyway. And then, when she found out I was sick, she helped me again. She taught me to walk. She taught me to fight. She asked for nothing in return. What's your point? Richard demanded. My point is, Marcus said, Sarah showed me what real strength is. It's not hiding your weakness. It's not pretending to be perfect. Real strength is admitting you need help, and then fighting like hell to get better. Marcus pulled out a piece of paper. This is my resignation letter. I wrote it last night. I was going to sign it and walk away. Let you all off the hook. Let Richard win. He held up the paper. Then he tore it in half. But I'm not resigning, Marcus said firmly. Because this company is worth fighting for. You are worth fighting for. And I'm not going to let Richard Cole buy something he doesn't even believe in. The room was completely silent. So here's my offer, Marcus continued. Give me 3 months. 3 months to prove I can still lead this company. If I fail, I'll resign. No fight. No argument. But if I succeed, Richard walks away forever. Mr. Peterson looked at Marcus for a long moment. And what about the deal we just lost? $500 million. I'll find a better deal, Marcus said. I'll find 10 better deals. Because that's what I do. I build. I create. I fight. Pretty words, Richard said. But the board needs to think about reality, not fairy tales. Then let's vote, Mr. Peterson said. All in favor of accepting Richard Cole's offer to buy the company, raise your hand. Marcus held his breath. This was it. The moment that would decide everything. 3 hands went up. 3 board members wanted to sell. All in favor of giving Marcus Williams 3 months to prove himself, raise your hand. 4 hands went up, including Mr. Peterson's. That's 7 votes, someone said. We have 12 board members. 5 people haven't voted yet. Marcus looked at those 5 people. People he'd worked with for years. People he trusted. People who were now deciding his fate. One by one, slowly, 3 more hands went up. 7 votes for Marcus. 3 votes for Richard. 2 people still hadn't voted. The room waited. The tension was unbearable. Finally, one of the last 2 people spoke. It was Mrs. Chun, the oldest board member. 40 years ago, Mrs. Chun said softly, I was diagnosed with cancer. I was told I had 6 months to live. I hid it from everyone. Kept working. Kept fighting. And you know what? I'm still here. Still fighting. She looked at Marcus. I know what it's like to be sick and scared. I know what it's like to think your weakness will destroy everything you built. But Marcus, you made a mistake today. You didn't trust us. You didn't let us help you. Marcus's heart sank. She was voting against him. But, Mrs. Chun continued, I also know that asking for help is the hardest thing a leader can do. And watching you walk across this room today, watching you fight, that took courage. Real courage. Mrs. Chun raised her hand. I vote for Marcus. 8 votes. Marcus had 8 votes. He needed 7 to win. He did it. He actually... Wait, the last board member said. It was a young man named David. I haven't voted yet. Everyone turned to look at David. David, Richard said quickly. Think about your future. If you vote for Marcus and he fails, you'll go down with him. But if you vote for me, I'm not voting for you, David interrupted. I'm voting for the man who gave me a chance when no one else would. The man who believed in me when I was just a kid with a crazy idea. David raised his hand. I vote for Marcus. 9 votes. Marcus won. Richard Cole's face turned red with rage. This is a mistake. All of you. You're making a huge mistake. The vote is over, Richard, Mr. Peterson said firmly. Marcus stays. You need to leave. Richard grabbed his briefcase. He looked at Marcus with pure hatred. This isn't over, Marcus. I'll destroy you. I'll destroy everything you love. You'll regret this. Get out, Marcus said quietly. Richard stormed out of the room. The door slammed behind him. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Mr. Peterson stood up. Marcus, he said, you have 3 months. Don't make us regret this. I won't, Marcus promised. The board members filed out of the room. Some shook Marcus's hand. Some just nodded. But they all left. Finally, Marcus was alone. He sat down in a chair. His legs were shaking. His whole body was shaking. He did it. He actually did it. He kept his company. Marcus pulled out his phone. He called Sarah. Marcus. Sarah answered immediately. How did it go? I won, Marcus said. His voice was filled with disbelief. I told him the truth. And I won. On the other end of the line, Sarah started crying. Happy tears. I'm so proud of you. How's Emma? Marcus asked. She woke up an hour ago, Sarah said. She's asking for chicken nuggets. The doctor says that's a good sign. Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. That's a very good sign. Marcus, Sarah said. You did it. You told your truth. And you're still standing. No, Marcus said. We did it. I couldn't have done any of this without you, Sarah. You saved me. We save each other, Sarah said softly. Marcus stood up. He walked to the window. Outside, the sun was rising over the city. A new day. A new beginning. He had 3 months to save his company. 3 months to find new deals. 3 months to prove he was still a leader. But for the first time in 6 months, Marcus wasn't afraid. Because he wasn't alone anymore. He had Sarah. He had the board's trust. And most importantly, he had himself back. Sarah, Marcus said, when Emma gets out of the hospital, I want to take you both to dinner. A real dinner. To celebrate. We like that, Sarah said. Good, Marcus said. Because I have a lot to celebrate. And a lot to be thankful for. As Marcus hung up the phone, he didn't know that Richard Cole was already planning his revenge. He didn't know that the next 3 months would be the hardest of his life. And he didn't know that his relationship with Sarah was about to change in ways neither of them expected. But right now, in this moment, Marcus Williams was free. Free from lies. Free from hiding. Free to be himself. And that was enough. 3 months passed like a storm. Marcus worked harder than he ever worked in his life. 18-hour days. Meeting after meeting. Phone call after phone call. He was trying to save his company. And he was trying to prove he wasn't broken. But something was different now. Marcus wasn't working alone anymore. Every morning at 5 a.m., Sarah was still there. At her garage. Helping Marcus with his therapy. Helping him stay strong. And every evening, Marcus visited Emma at the hospital. Then later, when Emma came home, he visited their small apartment. He brought food, toys, books. He became part of their lives. Sarah's daughter loved him. Mr. Marcus. Mr. Marcus. Emma would shout when he arrived. Did you bring me a new coloring book? Marcus always did. He couldn't help it. Emma's smile was the brightest thing in his world. But Richard Cole was watching. Always watching. Waiting for Marcus to fail. He'll slip up eventually, Richard told David Reeves, his private investigator. Nobody can work that hard and stay healthy. His disease will catch up with him. And when it does, I'll be there. Richard was planning something big. Something that would destroy Marcus once and for all. 2 months into Marcus's 3-month trial, Williams Tech announced a new deal. Not $500 million, but $800 million. The biggest deal in company history. The investors loved it. The stock price soared. Employees celebrated. Marcus was proving everyone wrong. The board meeting to review Marcus's progress was scheduled for next week. Everyone knew Marcus would pass. He had exceeded all expectations. But then, on a cold Tuesday morning, everything changed. Marcus woke up and couldn't move his legs at all. He tried to stand. Nothing happened. He tried to wiggle his toes. Nothing. Complete paralysis. No, Marcus whispered. Panic filled his chest. Not now. Please not now. He called his doctor immediately. Dr. Chun, my legs, they're not working at all. Come to the hospital right now, Dr. Chun said urgently. Marcus called his assistant. Cancel all my meetings today. Tell them I'm sick. Then he called Sarah. I need your help. Can you come to my house? Sarah arrived in 20 minutes. She found Marcus still in bed. His face was pale. Scared. What's wrong? Sarah asked. My legs stopped working, Marcus said. Completely. I can't feel anything. Sarah's heart sank. But she didn't show her fear. Okay, let's get you to the hospital. Can you move your arms? Yes, Marcus said. Then we'll figure this out, Sarah said firmly. At the hospital, Dr. Chun ran tests. Lots of tests. MRI, blood work, nerve tests, everything. Finally, Dr. Chun came into Marcus's room. His face was serious. Marcus, Dr. Chun said, your disease is progressing faster than we thought. The paralysis might be temporary, or it might be permanent. We won't know for at least a week. Marcus felt his world crashing down. A week? The board meeting is in 5 days. You need to rest, Dr. Chun said. Complete bed rest. No stress. No work. I can't rest, Marcus shouted. I have 5 days to prove I can lead my company. If I miss that meeting, if you don't rest, you might never walk again, Dr. Chun interrupted. Is your company worth that? Marcus was silent. Sarah held his hand. After Dr. Chen left, Marcus looked at Sarah. Tears filled his eyes. I was so close, Marcus whispered. So close to winning. And now? You haven't lost yet, Sarah said. Sarah, I can't move my legs, Marcus said. How am I supposed to go to a board meeting? How am I supposed to prove I'm capable? Sarah thought for a moment. Then she smiled. You prove it by showing up anyway. What? Marcus, Sarah said. Your board doesn't need to see you walk. They need to see you lead. Those are two different things. Marcus stared at her. You want me to go to the meeting in a wheelchair? Yes, Sarah said. Show them that leadership isn't about your legs. It's about your mind, your heart, your vision. They'll think I'm weak, Marcus said. No, Sarah said. They'll think you're honest, brave, real. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. Okay, I'll do it. But Sarah, will you come with me? To the meeting? Sarah looked surprised. Me? What? Because, Marcus said, you're the reason I'm still here. You're the reason I didn't give up. I want the board to meet the woman who saved my life. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Okay, I'll be there. The next 5 days were the hardest of Marcus's life. His legs didn't improve. The paralysis remained complete. But Marcus kept working from his hospital bed, making calls, sending emails, leading his company. And Sarah was there, every day, bringing him food, making him laugh, reminding him why he was fighting. You know, Marcus said one evening, I thought losing my ability to walk would be the worst thing that could happen to me. But it wasn't. What was? Sarah asked. Losing myself, Marcus said. For months, I was just Marcus Williams, CEO. I forgot how to be human. You reminded me. Sarah smiled. You reminded me too. For years, I was just Sarah the struggling single mother. I forgot I could be more than my circumstances. They looked at each other. Something passed between them. Something neither of them expected. Sarah, Marcus started. Sarah's phone rang. It was Emma's school. Mom, I won the art contest. My drawing won first place. Sarah's face lit up. Emma, that's amazing. Marcus watched Sarah talk to her daughter. He saw the love in her eyes, the pride, the joy, and Marcus realized something. He was falling in love with Sarah Mitchell. Finally, the day of the board meeting arrived. Marcus sat in a wheelchair. Sarah pushed him into the conference room. Every board member was there, and sitting in the corner, smiling wickedly, was Richard Cole. Richard, Mr. Peterson said sharply, I told you not to come. I'm here as a concerned former employee, Richard said smoothly. I just want to see how Marcus is doing. Richard looked at Marcus in the wheelchair. His smile grew bigger. Oh, Marcus, this is even worse than I imagined. The meeting will begin now, Mr. Peterson said. He looked at Marcus. Marcus, we've reviewed your work over the past 3 months, and we're impressed. Marcus nodded. Thank you. However, Mr. Peterson continued, we're concerned about your current condition. Can you explain what happened? Marcus took a deep breath. 5 days ago, I woke up and couldn't move my legs. The doctors say it might be temporary, or it might be permanent. They don't know yet. Whispers around the table. Concerned whispers. So you're saying, Richard Cole interrupted, that you might be paralyzed forever, and you still think you can run a company? Yes, Marcus said firmly. Edo. That's insane. Richard laughed. Look at you. You can't even stand up. You're right, Marcus said. I can't stand up, but I can still think. I can still create. I can still lead. Marcus pulled out his tablet. In the past 3 months, Williams Tech has signed 3 major deals. Our stock price is up 40%. Employee satisfaction is at an all-time high. And we just launched 2 new products that are changing the industry. He looked at each board member. I did all of that while learning to walk again, while fighting my disease, while refusing to give up. So yes, I might be in a wheelchair, but I'm still the best person to lead this company. The room was silent. Everyone was thinking. Then Sarah stood up. Excuse me. May I say something? Mr. Peterson looked surprised. And you are? My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm the mechanic who helped Marcus. Richard Cole laughed. Oh, this is perfect. You brought your mechanic girlfriend to a board meeting? She's not my girlfriend, Marcus said, though he wished she was. She's my friend, and she has something important to say. Sarah looked nervous, but she spoke anyway. 3 months ago, Marcus Williams could barely walk 10 steps. He was scared, ashamed, broken, but he didn't quit. Every morning at 5 a.m., he came to my garage, and he worked. He fought. He pushed through pain that would make most people give up. Sarah's voice grew stronger. I've known a lot of people in my life. Rich people, poor people, strong people, weak people. And I'm telling you right now, Marcus Williams is the strongest person I've ever met. Not because he can walk, but because even when he couldn't walk, he kept moving forward. The board members were listening, really listening. You're asking if Marcus can lead your company from a wheelchair, Sarah continued. I'm asking you, does a wheelchair change his brain? Does it change his vision? Does it change the fact that he's brilliant at what he does? Sarah looked directly at Richard Cole. Or are you just looking for an excuse to replace him with someone who cares more about revenge than success? Richard's face turned red. How dare you? Enough, Mr. Peterson said. He stood up. Richard, leave. Now, you're not part of this company anymore. Richard started to argue, but security guards entered the room. They escorted Richard out. He shouted threats the whole way. When Richard was gone, Mr. Peterson turned to Marcus. Marcus, the board needs to vote. Please step outside for a moment. Marcus nodded. Sarah wheeled him out of the room. They waited in the hallway. I can't believe you said all that, Marcus said. Thank you. I meant every word, Sarah said. They sat in silence, waiting. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20. Finally, the door opened. Mr. Peterson stepped out. His face was unreadable. Marcus, Mr. Peterson said. Please come back in. Sarah wheeled Marcus back into the conference room. All the board members were standing. Marcus couldn't tell what that meant. Marcus Williams, Mr. Peterson said formally. The board has voted, and the decision is unanimous. Marcus held his breath. You will remain as CEO of Williams Tech, Mr. Peterson announced. Not for 3 months, not for 3 years, but for as long as you want the position. Wheelchair or no wheelchair. We believe in you. Marcus couldn't speak. Emotions flooded through him. Relief, joy, gratitude. Sarah squeezed his shoulder. You did it, she whispered. The board members applauded. Some were crying. Some were smiling. They surrounded Marcus, shaking his hand, patting his back. Thank you, Marcus kept saying. Thank you so much. Mrs. Chun, the oldest board member, knelt down beside Marcus's wheelchair. My husband used a wheelchair for 15 years, she said. He ran 3 companies and raised 5 children. The wheelchair didn't limit him. It just changed how he moved. You're going to be fine, Marcus. Better than fine. After the meeting, Sarah wheeled Marcus outside. The sun was setting. The sky was painted orange and pink. I can't believe it's over, Marcus said. It's not over, Sarah smiled. It's just beginning. Marcus looked up at her. Sarah, there's something I need to tell you. What? These past 3 months, Marcus said slowly. You've changed my life. You've taught me what real strength is, what real friendship is. And somewhere along the way, I fell in love with you. Sarah's breath caught. Marcus, I know it's crazy, Marcus continued. We're from different worlds. You're a single mother. I'm a CEO in a wheelchair. It doesn't make sense. But love doesn't always make sense, does it? Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then she knelt down, so she was eye level with Marcus. You're right, Sarah said. It doesn't make sense. But you know what? I fell in love with you too. Somewhere between the therapy sessions and the hospital visits and the late night talks. I fell in love with Marcus. Not Marcus Williams, CEO. Just Marcus. Marcus smiled. The biggest, happiest smile of his life. So what do we do now? Now, Sarah said. Now we figured out. Together. They kissed. Right there in the parking lot. A CEO in a wheelchair and a mechanic with oil-stained hands. 2 broken people who found each other and became whole. 6 months later, Marcus's legs slowly regained movement. He could walk again. With a cane, but he could walk. The doctors called it a miracle. Marcus called it stubbornness. Williams Tech was thriving. The company was worth more than ever. And Marcus had started a new program, hiring people with disabilities, giving them chances, showing the world that wheelchairs and canes didn't define capability. Sarah opened 3 more garages. She hired single mothers who needed work. She gave them hope. just like Mrs. Rose once gave her hope. And Emma? Emma was healthy and happy. She called Marcus Uncle Marcus now. Sometimes just Uncle M. She had a room full of coloring books, and her drawings covered Marcus's office walls. One evening, Marcus, Sarah, and Emma sat in Marcus's backyard. They were having a simple dinner. Pizza and lemonade. Nothing fancy. Uncle M, Emma asked, "Did you really not know how to walk?" "That's right," Marcus said. "Your mom taught me." "Mom is really good at fixing things," Emma said proudly. "Yes, she is," Marcus agreed. He looked at Sarah. "She fixed the most important thing of all. Me." Sarah rolled her eyes. "You weren't broken, Marcus. You were just lost. There's a difference." "Well, I'm not lost anymore," Marcus said. He reached across the table and held Sarah's hand. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Later that night, after Emma was asleep, Marcus and Sarah sat on his porch, looking at the stars. "I've been thinking," Marcus said. "About what?" Sarah asked. "About that rainy night. On the highway. When my car broke down," Marcus said. "If you hadn't stopped, if you hadn't helped me, I don't know where I'd be right now." "You'd have figured it out," Sarah said. "You're Marcus Williams. You always figure it out." "No," Marcus said seriously. "I was giving up that night. I had already decided to let the disease win. But then you showed up, and you didn't see a CEO. You didn't see money or power. You just saw a person who needed help. And you helped. No questions asked." Sarah smiled. "That's what we do, right? We help each other. That's what being human means." "I want to spend my life helping people like you helped me," Marcus said. "I want to use my company, my money, my influence to give people hope." "You already are," Sarah said. Marcus pulled out a small box from his pocket. Sarah's eyes went wide. "Marcus, what is that?" "Sarah Mitchell," Marcus said. He opened the box. Inside was a simple ring. Beautiful, but not flashy. "You taught me how to walk. You taught me how to live. You taught me what love really means. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Sarah's face. "Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes." Marcus slipped the ring on her finger. They kissed under the stars. Two people who started as strangers on a rainy highway, who became friends. Then something more. "You know what the crazy thing is?" Sarah said. "What?" Marcus asked. "If your car hadn't broken down that night, if you hadn't been sick, if everything hadn't gone wrong, we never would have met." Marcus thought about that. "So sometimes the worst things lead to the best things." "Exactly," Sarah said. "Sometimes you have to fall apart before you can become who you're meant to be." They sat together in comfortable silence. Marcus looked at his legs. He could feel them now. Move them. They still hurt sometimes. Still didn't work perfectly. But they worked. "Thank you," Marcus whispered. To Sarah. To the universe. To whatever force brought them together. "For what?" Sarah asked. "For not giving up on me," Marcus said. "Even when I was ready to give up on myself." "Never," Sarah said firmly. "I'll never give up on you, Marcus Williams." And she didn't. They got married 6 months later. Emma was the flower girl. She wore a pink dress and threw petals everywhere. The board members attended. Even Mrs. Chun came and cried happy tears. Marcus and Sarah built a life together. Not a perfect life, but a real life, full of challenges and triumphs, struggles and victories, bad days and beautiful days. Marcus continued leading Williams Tech. Some days he used a wheelchair, some days a cane, some days he walked on his own, but every day he led with honesty, with courage, with heart. And Richard Cole? He tried to start his own company. It failed within a year. He disappeared from the business world. Some said he moved to another country. Some said he was still plotting revenge. But Marcus didn't care anymore. Richard was part of the past, and Marcus was focused on the future. Years later, Emma graduated high school as valedictorian. At her graduation speech, she said something that made Marcus cry. "My mom taught me that helping others is the most important thing we can do. And my stepdad Marcus taught me that being strong doesn't mean never falling down. It means getting back up every single time." Emma looked directly at Marcus in the audience. "Thank you, Marcus, for showing me that our limitations don't define us. Our choices do." After the ceremony, Marcus hugged Emma tight. "I'm so proud of you." "I'm proud of you too, Dad," Emma said. "Dad." She called him Dad. Marcus's heart felt like it might explode with happiness. That night, Marcus and Sarah sat on their porch. It had become their favorite place. Their thinking place. "We did good," Sarah said. "With Emma. With life. With everything. We did better than good," Marcus said. "We did amazing. And you know what? We're not done yet." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked. Marcus smiled mysteriously. "I've been thinking about starting a foundation for people with disabilities, to help them get jobs, to show the world that everyone has value. Everyone deserves a chance." "I love that idea," Sarah said. "What would you call it?" Marcus thought for a moment. "The Second Chance Foundation. Because sometimes all people need is a second chance to show what they're capable of." "Perfect," Sarah said. They held hands, looked at the stars, thought about the journey that brought them here. From a broken-down car on a rainy highway, to this moment, to this life, to this love. "Hey, Sarah," Marcus said. "Yeah." "If you could go back to that night, would you still stop? Knowing everything that would happen? The struggles? The pain? The challenges?" Sarah didn't hesitate. In a heartbeat. Every single time. Because the struggles were worth it. The pain led to healing. And the challenges made us stronger. She squeezed his hand. "You were worth stopping for, Marcus Williams." "And you," Marcus said, "were worth falling for, Sarah Williams." They kissed. Under the same stars that watched them begin. Under the same sky that saw them fall and fall and rise again. Because that's what life is. Falling and rising. Breaking and healing. Losing and finding. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, you find someone who helps you do all of it. Someone who sees you at your worst and still believes in your best. Someone who stays when everything falls apart. Someone who loves you not despite your brokenness, but through it. Marcus Williams found that person on a rainy highway in the middle of nowhere. And Sarah Mitchell found that person in a scared CEO who forgot how to walk, but learned how to live. Their story started with a broken car, but it ended with a healed heart. And that, as they say, changes everything.